The diner was nearly empty that night, the kind of small-town place where the smell of coffee lingered longer than the customers. Jack Miller, a former Marine and single father, sat in his usual corner booth, his calloused hands wrapped around a chipped mug. Life had taught him to stay quiet, to observe before acting. But tonight, silence wasn't an option. Across the room, a man in a tailored suit snapped his fingers at the young waitress, barking for more coffee. His voice dripped arrogance, the kind only money could buy. "Do you even know who I am?" The man sneered as the girl nervously spilled a few drops while refilling his cup. Jack watched her eyes flicker with fear. He could tell she was new. Her hands trembled with every plate she carried. He didn't know her name, but something in the way she whispered, "I'm sorry, sir," reminded him of his late wife, who had once waited tables to support his dream of opening a repair shop. When the man slammed his hand on the counter, causing the coffee pot to crash to the floor, Jack stood up slowly. The air went still. "That's enough," he said, his deep voice calm but firm. The man turned, clearly offended. "Excuse me? This is none of your business, old man." Jack took a step closer, his broad shoulders shadowing the table. "You're harassing a young woman trying to do her job. Sit down, apologize, and walk away." The waitress looked between them, her lips parting in shock. "Please, it's fine," she whispered, but her eyes said otherwise. The rich man scoffed. "You don't scare me. You're just some washed-up vet." Jack's jaw tightened. He wasn't angry for himself. He'd heard worse. But he couldn't stand bullies. "Maybe," he said quietly, "but I fought men stronger than you to protect people like her. You want to find out how much fight I've got left?" The diner fell silent. Even the radio in the corner seemed to pause. The man hesitated, his face flushing red, then muttered a curse and stormed out. Jack sighed and bent down to pick up the broken coffee pot. "Sorry about the mess," he said gently. The waitress stared at him, still shaken. "You didn't have to do that. He could have caused trouble." Jack smiled faintly. "Ma'am, trouble's been my shadow for years. It doesn't scare me anymore." Later that night, as Jack was leaving, the waitress stopped him by the door. "Wait," she said softly. "I never got your name." "Jack Miller," he said. "You take care, all right?" She nodded, her expression unreadable. The next morning, Jack got a knock on his small apartment door. He opened it to find a sleek black car parked outside, and the same waitress, but this time she wasn't wearing her uniform. Instead, she was dressed elegantly, her hair tied back, holding an envelope. "I need to explain," she said. "My name isn't Lily Carter like on the name tag. It's Lily Harrington. My father owns the company that man works for." Jack blinked, stunned. "I've been working undercover," she continued. "I wanted to understand how people treated those without money. You're the first person who ever stood up for me without knowing who I was." She handed him the envelope. "My father wants to meet you. He heard what happened, and he wants to help with your repair shop dream." Jack looked at the envelope, his throat tight. "You don't have to do this." She smiled. "You didn't have to stand up for me either. But you did." As she drove away, Jack looked down at the check inside. Enough to change his and his daughter's life forever. He stood on his porch, the morning sun warming his face. For the first time in years, the world felt light again. Proof that a single act of courage could ripple farther than he ever imagined.